Okay, so we are talking about a topic to do with mental health, surrounding menopause. So if you can just tell me what you want to talk about, and if you have a story to share about relating to this topic.
Well, I have come to the stage of my life in my 50s where I'm going through premenopausal, menopausal symptoms, where I never knew that I was suffering. I would have lack of energy, very low mood. It really affected my mental health severely. In fact, some days I couldn't bring myself out of bed and I didn't know what it was. So I then discovered that exercise, which I've always been very active, but I gave it up for a while during my midlife crisis. But when I returned back to it, I realized how much it really uplifted my mood. And by not taking HRT has actually made a profound effect in my well-being, mentally and physically. And it's quite emotional. And I could recommend that doing exercise is such a valuable thing for everyone that's in particularly a midlife, menopausal time in their life. I'm not saying I don't promote HRT. I think that's also a very valuable tool, but also exercising and moving around, keeping active, interacting with people really, really uplifts your mood and avoids having any sort of severe depression. It keeps you fit. It gets you outside, you interact with people, joining a club. It really is. And I think that it's really downplayed by a lot of men, the menopause. They don't really understand it. They don't support it. And it's something I really want to promote.
Okay, and what are your coping mechanisms for this?
Well, as I said, exercising. I'm a member of a gym. I go I've always been a member of a gym, but during my menopause, I stopped for a while because I had no energy, as I said. So when I restarted going, it rebooted me. It made me feel it released my serotonins in my mind, my soul, and just moving around, doing gym classes. Yoga is fantastic for that. Pilates, any classes that you can do, and teamwork, meeting people. It really does. It really helped me cope with everyday life. And without that, even today, I wouldn't be able to manage. I don't think I'd get out of bed.
And that's the same advice you would give your friends and family as well. Exercise.
Definitely. It's not just definitely for the mental health, to uplift your moods, to avoid the low moods, and also keeping fit. And also a lot of women at my age in their mid-50s, they have a midriff, like a big belly, which also keeps you fit, keeps your belly flat, and you can avoid the excess water retention.
And do you feel there's not much help out there to fix this?
At this time in our life, in the 20th century, there is a lot more understanding of it, a lot more awareness, should I say. And doctors are much more supportive, especially the female doctors. I'm not saying anything about male chauvinistic, but particularly the female doctor, they really understand because they're going through it themselves. We all go through it in some stage of our life, in our midlife crisis. And some people go through terrible relationships, breakdowns, because, being with a husband or a partner that doesn't understand the symptoms that you're going through. And it's actually it's a bit like I don't know how to explain it, I relate it to. It's like when you're having a baby, that post before having a baby, you feel the blues and stuff like that. It's a bit like that. Your hormones are not stabilized. So exercise.
But then
Hmm.
The natural methods is better than taking medication. I think so.
For me, it is personally, and I would totally recommend and promote not taking anything, because when I went to the doctor, I said, give you an example, they tried to give me antidepressants. And I knew I'm not a depressive person. I'm a very positive person. But they weren't understanding that I was going through the menopause. They did, but for them, it was almost like just take an antidepressant, you'll get over it. But that I like the natural remedy, doing things, being with people, exercising, yoga. Yoga is a beautiful, beautiful method. Meditating, doing all the things spiritually and exercising. The two are really interlinked. I'd like to.
And what made you want to promote it? Like, what does it mean for you?
Well, it means a lot for me because I felt I was suffering in silence and no one really directed me in the right path. And I met someone in the gym that was doing yoga, and she was going through a similar thing than me. And I had started yoga, and I started Pilates, and I started doing various exercise in the gym, also for my bone density, to avoid osteoporosis. Because when you go through menopause, you lose estrogen and progesterone. So going to the gym, exercising, yoga, and all that kind of thing really, really, really does make you strong physically and mentally. Absolutely. The two things go together, physically and mentally. I strongly, strongly promote that to any woman out there. And I'm not degrading HRT. That would be also something to consider on top of exercising if necessary. Completely.
Okay. And what are the main symptoms of menopause?
Oh, you get night sweats, well, day sweats as well. But for me, per se, I get a lot of night sweats. I lack energy. I lose my memory. I have to keep writing notes, post-night notes to remind myself. My memory loss is terrible. A lack of energy, lack of purpose in life, just feeling low generally. And I was one of these people that could cope with anything in life. You threw it at me and I could cope. But you slow down. So,
Okay. And is there anything else that you want to share and advise people who's going through this?
I would definitely say to them, keep active, try and find positive things to keep you active, keep good company, people that are positive, to avoid your mental health. Belong to a gym or an art class or any sort of group that you are passionate about and that you would really fulfill your day. Because if you're retired as well and you're going through the menopause, it's not ideal. So yeah, if need be, take HRT as well for a while until you find your way. And that's the best I can say, really, because also going through menopause, it gets you very emotional, and that's not what you need. I've gone through my days of tears and I can't bear that anymore. And also sleeping well. You sleep so much better when you exercise. It really does make you sleep well, because when you go through menopause, you really lacking sleep, especially if you've got a snoring husband like myself. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think you covered everything.
Huh? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, we got cut off. I'm just trying to think what else I could ask you surrounding this.
Whatever you want.
So how long is it normally, how long does it last for?
Well, apparently, according to the medics, it can last up to 10 years. 10 years. It depends on your, it depends. Yeah, it usually lasts for 10 years, but every individual female, it depends on their circumstances. Like for me, I started at 48 and I'm 56 now. So I've got another, hopefully I've got another 2 years. My sister started quite early. She was 38. So she's gone through it. So they say, I think the maximum is about 10 years, I would say. So being a woman, it's not always ideal. Well, that's it. Everyone has to go through.
The connection has gone a bit.
Okay.
Okay. So I know there's also such thing as early menopause as well. So like even women probably in their 20s can have menopause. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes, that is the
something
case.
Called early menopause.
That does occur, and it doesn't occur very regularly, but it does happen. It's not a common factor, but it does happen, and it's probably more common now than it was before, due to the diet that we live in, the universe we live in, the climate that we live in, the lifestyle that we lead. So yes, it would be more prevalent, I think, in young people these days, and that is very sad.
So the cause of menopause is not just getting older. It's not just about age. Then it's the hormones.
It's a hormone, but age related is more common. It's much more, it's much more, it's more, I hate to say they use the word normal, but it is more normal and common the older you get. Being young, you can, if you're young and you get it at 20 or your 30s, then it's very sad because if you want a family, you're less likely to be able to conceive.
Yeah.
That's the down factor.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts and your story. And hopefully people can relate to this and it will raise awareness.
Definitely. I do hope so for mental well-being, physically, bone density, and everything that goes with it, being with good company, being positive. I really hope I can share my story. Thank you, Anastasia.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll just stop recording now.
Thank you.